Happy Friday, I'm Francie and this is Chris. And on today's episode, we're going to be covering the Axeman of New Orleans and we're going to be making a Cajun shrimp fettuccine.
So she's gonna chop up some celery. I'm gonna chop up 5 cloves of garlic, and we'll talk about the Axeman of New Orleans. So he was an American serial killer active in New Orleans, Louisiana, and surrounding communities. His span of crimes started from May 23rd, 1918 to October 27th, 1919. So it was only about a year span. So, but he still did a lot of damage during that time.
So the Axeman was actually never identified and the murders remained unsolved.
He mainly targeted Italian immigrants and Italian Americans. So not sure if he was, like one of the theories was that he was racially profiling his victims, but there was no proof for sure that he was doing so. His victims, he killed 6 victims and he injured 6 victims. So that was pretty crazy for a year span, hey? Like that's still pretty a lot, like quite a bit.
Regularly active.
Yeah.
Which is scary. And the victims were actually attacked with an axe, and this was the victim's own axe. So he never brought a murder weapon with him. And the crimes were not motivated by robbery, so he never took anything from the victims' homes.
Okay, so because of the Italian immigrants being killed and Italian Americans, they thought that it was related to the mafia, but there was no proof of it. It was just in the media stating that that was a possibility.
A crime analysis had suggested that the killings were related to a sexual connection, like that he was sadistic.
So criminalists believe that the reason why they think it was sexual was because that mostly the male victims were killed, and they think it was because the male victims were obstructing the crime, like preventing their wife from being killed, but they were in the way.
Exactly.
So that's why they think that was one of their theories.
Protecting their women.
Yeah, exactly. And then
another theory was that the killer killed or murdered people, and he was doing it to promote jazz music. He was a fan of jazz music, and at one point he actually did mention that he would avoid attacking any of the homes that were playing jazz music that night.
So the reason why they think that is because he sent a letter to the media stating that if you're playing jazz music, then I won't kill you. So actually there was no crimes that night. That he said on March, I believe it was March 19th, that if you played jazz music, you're fine. So everyone was hauled up at jazz bars everywhere. So everyone that night was busy listening to jazz music. No one was killed. So that could be like the reason why. So that's crazy that that was
so weird how people's minds work.
Exactly. What a weird
what a weird request.
Yeah.
So we have chopped up all of our celery and minced our garlic, and we're going to move on to the green pepper.
1 onion.
And we are going to get into some of the Axeman's victims. So his first victim, or I should say victims, they were an Italian couple, Joseph Maggio, who was a grocer, and his wife, Catherine Maggio. They were attacked on May 23rd, 1918, and they had their throats cut.
With a straight razor.
With a straight razor, yeah.
So again, that could go with a theory where they thought that like he was trying to get the wife, but the husband was in the way.
Yeah.
So that's a good theory. His next victim was Louis B. Summer and his mistress Harriet Lowe. Harriet Lowe. They were both attacked in the early morning on June 27th, 1918. So that's a month later, like attacked with an axe to death. That's insane. So again, going with couples. So that theory really sticks and sounds right. Hey?
Yeah, that he's going to attack the woman
and the husbands are on the way. And early in the morning, like wow, that's the first thing in the morning. Like you think he stayed up all night, or you think he woke up and he's like angry with the world and just decided to go ahead.
Or you would assume, or you would think he would be thinking, someone is probably home.
Yeah.
If she has a partner.
I guess 6 a.m. in the morning or something like that. Like everyone's got to be home by that point. And then that's it. But let's cut this onion before I cry.
You're like, I just want to get this done.
Choppity chop, chop, chop.
Right. I hate when you're cutting something or your hands are busy and then you have like an itch that you can't scratch.
Which itch on your nose?
Like, yeah.
Your hair is your hair touching
from
your
my
nose?
hair.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Always. Never fails.
Yeah.
I haven't made anything Cajun before,
No, this is
so
exciting.
This is gonna be good.
I know
It's gonna be
we love seafood, so this will be fun.
Yes.
Seafood.
There are a lot of Cajun recipes that are meat if you're not a seafood person.
Yeah, you could easily change this to a sausage, and then it would still work.
Mm-hmm.
Sausage was yummy. You can do any kind of sausage too. There's like plant-based sausage. You can do turkey sausages.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. We're gonna coat it with 1.5 teaspoons of Cajun powder. Now we love this Cajun powder.
I'm adding more because I like it spicier.
Yeah, we definitely love spicy. So we'll add a couple teaspoons. Oh, that smells so good.
Mm-hmm. It smells really good already. So what you want to do is
coat those shrimp babies.
Mm-hmm. And we have oil heating up in the pan.
Yeah, we already preheated our pan with oil. A tablespoon of oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smells so good.
I'm just going to swirl my oil around.
Okay.
And it's medium-high heat, and we're gonna lay in our shrimp.
Oh. We're only doing this for 3 minutes.
Yeah, you want to cook it on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes to sear them up.
Perfect. We have the water boiling. Oh,
Yeah, our water's on for our linguine. It smells so good already.
yeah. Oh, that does smell so good. And then we'll flip them over right away. So we flipped over the shrimp, and we're just waiting for another minute till they're completely done. And then we're gonna take them out of the pan, clean out the pan, and then add another tablespoon of oil in it and start the veggies.
Oh, that yummy seasoning.
Putting all that drippings in there. So we just added the onion. We added 1 whole onion. We're adding
1 green pepper
and a half a cup of celery.
Hands are slippery. And we did add another tablespoon of oil to our pan. And
Oh, there's garlic too?
yes. We're also going to add chili flakes.
A teaspoon of chili flakes.
You can do more if you want to. You just might do more.
Ooh, yeah. We like it extra spicy. How do you guys like it? If you guys know any spicy dishes, let us know. We love spicy dishes. It's our favorite.
The next thing we're gonna add is
A tablespoon and a half of thyme.
yeah.
So we'll just add that all in. Perfect.
And bay leaves.
And 3 bay leaves. Perfect.
And last but not least, all of our chopped up garlic.
Simmer this for a few minutes and then that's it.
So the veggies are soft.
Which should be soon. Nothing in there is pretty, like onions, green peppers, and celery, they tender pretty fast.
Okay, everything's cooking down really nicely.
You just did.
Softening really nicely.
Alright, so we cooked down the veggies and we just doing the noodles in the hot boiling water.
Yep.
We're just doing this for a couple more minutes and moving on to adding the tomatoes into here. Alright, so we're just adding our tomatoes. Ooh. Looks good. Just making sure we stir that in. We've still mixed in our noodles.
And this is gonna simmer medium to high heat for 5 minutes.
Perfect. So for 5 minutes, we'll let it simmer, and then we'll add our shrimp and cream.
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, definitely. What's your favorite dish to make?
I like anything with pasta for sure.
Yeah. I'd like to make homemade pasta one day.
We should definitely try that.
We should. It'll be a mess, but it'll be fun. It'll be a crime scene in the kitchen.
Yes. We can borrow my grandma's pasta maker.
Cool.
Perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's bubbling up nicely.
Perfect. So just a few minutes of this, and then we'll move on to the next step. So we're just stirring everything, making sure everything's good. We'll talk about, so Anna Schneider was attacked in the early evening of August 5th, 1918. She was 8 months pregnant. She woke to find a dark figure standing over her and bashed her in the face repeatedly. Her husband luckily came home from work around midnight and found her on the ground and took her to the hospital, but Anna remembered nothing of this incident and gave birth to a healthy baby girl 2 days later. So luckily the baby was okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, that was the pretty, like, I can't, and imagine being so scarred that you don't remember, like your body shut down and not remembered the incident. That's
Honestly.
crazy.
And that's, I guess, that is the body. That's what our body does so that we can forget trauma.
Yeah. I can't believe it. It's insane. But it's good. Well, if you're obviously, in order to live, keep going, sometimes you need to forget the trauma.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll let this simmer for a couple more minutes, and then we'll add the cream and shrimp. All right, so we took the pan off the heat. We're just adding half a cup of half and half. And then we're gonna add in our noodles and our shrimp. Look at that.
All of their yummy
Flavors.
Cajun on it.
And we're just doing this for a minute, and then we're gonna plate it, and we're done. Pretty easy dish, I feel like.
Really easy. That one noodle.
That one.
You want to be a part of it?
Come on, be with your friends. So, what's your favorite pasta dish? Like, what's your favorite pasta?
My favorite, I would have to say, is just like a regular traditional meat sauce.
Oh, I love Alfredo.
You like Alfredo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good too.
And spaghetti. And, well, like, my favorite Alfredo for sure. And lasagna is my second for sure.
Yeah.
I like that
Alright.
cheese and cream.
Let's get this in a bowl.
Looks so good. So we just plated our dish. We're gonna try it right away, but we're gonna just talk about the victims. So we just have a few more left.
Yes.
So the next victim was Joseph Romano. He was an elderly man living with his two nieces. His nieces came in and seen the assailant fleeing off. This was on August 10th, 1918, and the nieces found him axed to death. So he was still alive when they found him, but when he died in the hospital 2 days later.
So sad.
That is so sad.
Charles Cartanilla, Italian immigrant, living with his wife and their infant daughter Mary. And the neighbor, Giordano, who was a grocer, heard screaming coming from the home and ran to find that they had been attacked. So Charles and his wife and the infant were attacked, and they actually lost Mary, their infant daughter, during the attack. So it's so sad. So both Charles and his wife survived.
Yeah, they said they split up shortly though. They didn't last after that.
Shortly after, understood.
Yeah.
Losing a child will definitely do that.
Steve Boca, another Italian American, and he was a grocer. He got attacked and died on August 10th, 1919.
Sarah Lohman, she was attacked on September 3rd, 1919, and a neighbor came in to check on her and then found Sarah
With a severe head injury.
A severe head injury, yeah. And she was also missing a tooth.
But she lived, so that was good. The last victim, his last and final heard of victim, was Mike Pittoni, attacked on October 27, 1919. His wife was awakened by a noise and arrived at the door to his bedroom while the axe-wielding man was fleeing the scene. Mike died from injuries. So this is the same wife that killed Joseph Monfrey a few months later. So that's why they think Jeffrey Monfrey was the killer.
Okay.
So
That was the motive for her crime.
exactly. So, but again, no one knows for sure.
We're gonna dig into
Definitely
our
dig in.
meal.
Looks good.
Is it spicy enough?
No, it could always be spicier.
Yeah. This is gonna be messy.
That's good though.
It's got a nice kick to it. The recipe said not to add salt to
The noodles?
your pasta water. I definitely would recommend it. Just because I feel like it maybe could have used a little bit more salt.
I feel like
But
I could
other
use a
than that-
lot more cream.
And more cream.
Yeah. We'll edit the recipe on our page.
But other than that, it's very yummy. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and join us next Friday for a new crime story and a new dish.
Yes, I'm so excited. I wonder what the next one's gonna be.